Eli Turner was a name no one remembered. Not because they forgot it, but because they never bothered to learn it. He was the kid you looked past in the hallway, the one who sat alone during lunch, the one who flinched at loud noises and ducked when footsteps came too close. Eli didn't speak unless spoken to, and even then, it was a whisper. Thin, pale, with slumped shoulders and oversized sweatshirts to hide his shrinking frame, he was the definition of invisible. Home wasn't much of a refuge. His dad, Gary, worked 12-hour shifts at an auto shop just to keep the lights on. A single parent with calloused hands and tired eyes, Gary tried his best, but sometimes trying just meant silence at the dinner table. They barely spoke beyond passing plates and the occasional "How was school?" that never received an honest answer. Then, one Thursday afternoon, everything began to change. Eli was in the locker room after gym class, peeling off his shirt in the far corner where no one looked. That's when he saw it, his reflection in the cracked mirror above the sinks. A patch of skin on his right shoulder looked off. Pale gray, smooth like stone. He reached up to touch it. It didn't feel like skin. It felt solid, cold, like polished granite. He flinched and pulled his hand back, heart pounding. He thought maybe he'd bruised it. Maybe he'd hit something. But it didn't ache. It didn't swell. It didn't change. In fact, the next day, it grew. By Friday afternoon, the gray patch was the size of a dinner plate. When one of the school bullies, Marcus, shoved him into a row of lockers, Eli's instincts kicked in. He twisted, slammed his shoulder into Marcus's chest, and sent the kid flying back like he'd been hit by a freight train. Silence filled the hallway. Then laughter. Cheers. A few claps. But above all, a deep, commanding voice called out, "Kid, you ever think of playing football?" Coach Dalker, broad-shouldered, ex-military, with a voice like gravel and a stare that could cut glass. He marched over, eyes locked on Eli like he'd just found a diamond in a garbage pile. "You've got power," the coach said. "Try it. Tomorrow. Be there." Eli mumbled something. He wasn't even sure what, but it didn't matter. Dalker was already walking away, grinning. That night, Eli sat at the dinner table, staring at his plate. His dad looked up. "You okay?" Eli didn't answer at first. Then, after a moment, "I think I'm joining the football team." Gary raised his eyebrows. "You? Really?" It wasn't meant to be cruel, but it stung anyway. Eli looked back down. "Coach asked me." The next week was a blur. Tryouts turned into practice. Practice turned into praise. Praise turned into obsession. The patch on Eli's shoulder continued to spread, down his back, up his neck, across his chest. At first, he was terrified. But then, he noticed something strange. The more the hard skin spread, the better he felt. Stronger, taller, louder. Like something inside him was waking up. For the first time in his life, people didn't laugh when he walked by. They stared. They moved when he got close. Coach Dalker called him the Wall. The other players nodded when he spoke. They even asked him for advice. But something else changed, too. He stopped eating lunch with Trevor, his only real friend since grade school. Trevor tried to understand, but Eli kept brushing him off. "Just busy," he'd say. "Gotta train." When Trevor joked about Eli turning into a superhero, Eli didn't laugh. He just stared and said, "Maybe I'm finally becoming who I'm supposed to be." The voice in his head agreed. Coach Dalker's voice. But deeper. Older. It whispered now. even when the coach wasn't around. They don't understand you. They never did. But I see it. I see what you are becoming. His dad noticed the shift, too. You've been different lately, Gary said one night, watching his son pace the kitchen. I'm glad you found something, but you're scaring me a little. Eli's jaw clenched. You're just afraid I won't be your quiet little disappointment anymore. Eli, that's not what I. But Eli was already gone, slamming the door behind him. The hardening accelerated. By mid-season, his entire torso was armored in stone. His arms thickened, bones heavier, joints cracking when he moved. His eyes changed, too, losing their softness, replaced with a cold, glassy gleam. Trevor tried one last time to reach him. This isn't you, Eli. You're hurting people. You enjoy it. I don't even know who I'm talking to anymore. Eli's voice was gravel now. Deep. Flat. Maybe you never did. Game night. Friday. Packed stands. Stadium lights humming overhead. Eli waited on the sidelines, helmet under his arm. He didn't feel nervous. He felt right. The hard skin now covered his entire body, except his face. And even that was beginning to feel tight. Coach Dalka stood beside him, eyes locked on the field. Tonight, he said, you stop pretending to be human. Tonight, you show them what you are. Eli nodded once. Not because he agreed, but because deep down, he already knew. The game was brutal. Eli dominated the field. No one could touch him. Quarterbacks fled at the sight of him. Players bounced off his body like rubber balls. He didn't smile. He didn't blink. He was a machine. And then, in the final quarter, he saw his moment. The opposing quarterback scrambled. Eli charged. Everything slowed. And then, impact. The sound was like stone crushing bone. The quarterback flew back and crumpled. Didn't move. The stadium fell silent. Whistles blew. Coaches ran. Teammates stared. Eli stood over the boy's body, chest heaving. His heart was hammering. No, not his heart. Something else. Cracks appeared along his arms. Deep, glowing veins of red pulsed beneath the stone skin. His knees buckled. He dropped, clutching his chest. His mouth opened, and he screamed. It was not a scream of fear. Not pain. It was release. His body split down the middle with a deafening crack. Stone fragments exploded across the turf. Steam rose. And from the shattered shell of Eli Turner, something crawled out. It was tall, shadowy, its skin like oozing tar, its limbs impossibly long, head featureless except for glowing red slits where eyes should be. It turned slowly, surveying the field, as if awakening from centuries of sleep. People screamed. Parents grabbed their children. Players dropped helmets and fled. But Trevor didn't move. He stood at the edge of the field, eyes wide with horror, whispering, "Ild." The creature's head turned to him. Then, without a word, it vanished into the night. And all that remained in the center of the field was a steaming, broken husk of stone. Fade to black.